All right, today we're pulling back the curtain on the engine that powers pretty much all of modern technology, DevOps. And we're going to look at the key person who makes it all happen, the DevOps manager. So, have you ever stopped to wonder how your favorite apps can get new features almost every single day, and somehow the whole thing doesn't just crash and burn? It's not magic, I promise. The answer is a philosophy and a whole set of practices called DevOps. But to really get why it's so revolutionary, we first have to take a look at how things used to be.
For decades, building software was, well, kind of broken. It was basically a story of two different teams, separated by this giant invisible wall.
On one side of that wall, you had the development team, or dev. Their whole world was about building new features, innovating, and moving as fast as they possibly could. Then on the other side, you had the operations team, ops, and their job was the complete opposite. Keep the system stable, make sure they never go down, and their number one rule was do not let anything break. You can probably see the problem here, right? This tension created what everyone famously called the wall of confusion. Devs would literally just throw their code over this wall to ops. Releases were incredibly slow and painful. And when things inevitably broke out in the real world, you'd hear that classic developer line, "Well, it worked on my machine." This whole back and forth was costing companies billions.
So clearly, something had to change. A new way had to be found, a way to just tear down that wall and get these two teams to actually work together. And that solution? That's DevOps.
Now, it's really important to understand that DevOps isn't some tool you can just go out and buy. It's not really a job title either. It's a cultural movement. It's a philosophy that uses automation and better practices to basically merge Dev and Ops, all focused on answering one single question. How can we deliver amazing things to our users faster and more reliably? This whole philosophy is built on three main ideas known as the three ways. First is flow. The idea is to make work move from someone's idea all the way to a live feature as quickly and smoothly as possible. Second is feedback. You need to create super fast and constant communication from the live systems right back to the developers. And third is continuous learning. This is about creating a culture where it's safe to experiment, it's safe to fail, and most importantly, it's safe to learn from those failures. So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, this right here is the heart of DevOps, the automated CI/CD pipeline. A developer pushes some new code. That immediately triggers an automated server to run a whole battery of tests. That's called continuous integration, or CI. If everything looks good, the code gets packaged up into a neat little portable box called a container. Then a process called continuous deployment, or CD, kicks in and automatically ships that container out to production. And all the while, monitoring tools are watching everything, 24/7, ready to give instant feedback. But who guides this whole complex dance of culture and technology? This is where the DevOps manager comes into the picture. I absolutely love this quote because it just perfectly captures what this role is all about. This is not your traditional boss. They're a coach for the team, an architect for the systems, and a diplomat who has to bring these two historically separate tribes together. And that's a huge shift from a traditional IT manager, who usually just tells people what to do and manages them inside their little box. A DevOps manager does the exact opposite. They focus on managing the process, not the people. Their number one job is to get roadblocks out of the way, bridge the gap between teams, and just make sure that whole delivery pipeline is as healthy as it can be. Now, to do this, they need a really unique mix of skills. Yeah, of course, they need to be technically sharp. They have to understand code, cloud platforms, and all the big tools. But what's just as important, if not more so, are the soft skills. They need to be able to see the big picture, the whole system, and they need incredible communication and empathy to actually drive that cultural change. So what does a DevOps manager actually do all day? Well, their work is really split between the day-to-day duties and the long-term strategic vision. You see, DevOps is managed by data, not by gut feelings. These managers live and breathe what are called the 4 key DORA metrics. They track deployment frequency, basically how often are you shipping code, lead time for changes, how long does it take for code to go live, change failure rate, what percentage of your changes cause a problem, and mean time to recovery. When something breaks, how fast can you fix it? The goals are really simple. Go faster, but don't break stuff. But beyond those daily numbers, they're always playing the long game. This means things like optimizing how much you spend on the cloud, which is a whole new field called FinOps. It means engineering for reliability, so you can promise your system will be up and actually deliver on it. It's about building security into every single step of the process, DevSecOps.
And maybe most importantly, they have to champion a blameless culture where failures are just seen as chances to learn.
So at the end of the day, why does any of this matter? Well, because the results are absolutely transformative.
And this just shows you the difference. Companies that master DevOps don't just get a little bit better. They see these huge exponential gains. The best teams can deploy new code 30 times more frequently than their old school competition. Just think about that for a second. What a competitive advantage.
But here's the thing. It's not just about raw speed. It's about speed with stability. Those same high-performing teams also have 50% fewer failures in production. They basically prove that you can move fast and be reliable at the same time. This all comes down to a fundamental shift in how you think. In the old world, servers were treated like pets. You'd give them a cute name, and if one got sick, you'd spend all night trying to nurse it back to health. In the DevOps world, servers are treated like cattle. They're anonymous, they're disposable. If one fails, you don't fix it, you just replace it automatically. This mindset is what builds unbelievably resilient systems.
And it all really comes down to this one simple, powerful mantra. You build it, you run it. It means developers are responsible for their code, not just on their own machine, but all the way out into the real world and beyond. It's the ultimate expression of ownership, and it's what makes modern software possible. The DevOps manager's job? It's to make sure everyone on the team lives by that principle every single day.